What up, YouTube, YouTube?
What up, YouTube, YouTube?
There you go. Alrighty, hey guys, we are back again. Did some filming earlier today. I had a pretty good video idea of like a beginner's guide sort of toolkit type deal thing, and quickly realized that I was underprepared like nobody's business. So I'm gonna put a little more effort into that one. But regardless, I do want to post a video for you guys. So I thought, what the heck? Oh wait, I've got a big old fossil collection. So maybe I'll show you some of the fossils that I got. See what you guys might be able to find for yourselves someday. And tell you a little bit about each one. So I think we'll start with the smaller ones. So I guess we'll start with the smallest one. We have this guy right here. Real small little Canadasaurus Ammonite. Absolutely beautiful. A funny story about this one. We were fossil hunting for most of the day really, and didn't find a thing. And I put my hammer down and this was embedded in the ground there. The other half wasn't there, but I popped it out and I was like, holy smokes, a little itsy bitsy baby. So that's actually pretty neat. I think that's the smallest Ammonite that I have, to be honest with you, because it is pretty tiny. Then we go over to this guy. So this is a pretty cool one. I found this one out in Courtney. As you can see, it was crushed up during the fossilization process, but it's still really neat. I'll see if I can get the camera in there. How it's just crystallized like that. Absolutely beautiful. One of my favorites. It looks like some prep work could be done to this, but I kind of like it in its natural beauty like that. Then we have this guy right here. So this is a gastropod. This is not an ammonite. I found this guy in a road cut on the side of the highway, believe it or not. It's one of my more interesting fossils. As you can see, it's basically, well, it looks more like a concrete snail, to be honest with you, which is pretty much what it is, I guess. But it's complete like that. It might have gone on a little bit more, but as it stands, it's a really, really neat fossil. I found it as you see it. No prep went into this guy. I gave it a scrub when I got home, but aside from that, it's as you see it, that's as I found it. So it's very excited. Then we have this guy here. So I believe this is a Canadasaurus. It's very neat, and as you see that shimmer there, almost completely crystallized in the center. The other side doesn't look that great. Still, like, you can see prep marks and what have you. But this side looks absolutely beautiful. I really, really like this one. I think it's a Canadasaurus, but regardless, absolutely beautiful. Now moving into the larger ammonites, we've got this guy here. Beautiful ribbing on it. It's very, very nice. So this guy, funny enough, I noticed, imagine if you will, all of this sort of like a rock face. It all looked pretty much like this. And I just thought to myself, you know, that's a weird shaped rock. I flipped it over, and that's what I saw. You can see I prepped down into it a little bit, but aside from that, you know, this is as it's sat. Very, very lucky find. Then we have this guy here. So this guy is one of my favorite preps I ever did, because it was caked up pretty much to that. You could only really see this top bit. It looked pretty much like this. You can see the other end of it, it's sort of poking out. But absolutely beautiful. I love how three-dimensional it is. It goes right in there. But a really, really nice find, this one. And we got a few more of the larger ones. This one's a little different from what we've seen. You see how smooth and hypnotic that is. This is what you would call a Horiceros Ammonite. And they were, you know, a lot of people call them, like, I've heard people call them flying saucers and whatnot. Their keels were very sharp. You can sort of see the end of it there, you know, for cutting through the water and what have you. Really, really beautiful. This is the first Ammonite that I have ever prepped in my whole life. This guy took me, I think, like, you know, 6 to 8 hours roughly. That's sort of what it looked like on the other side. This is sort of what it looked like when I started working on it. You can see there was a break right here, and I just glued it back together and kept on trucking. Absolutely beautiful Ammonite. The Horiceros, when you find like a relatively complete one, they are absolutely gorgeous. It's a really nice Ammonite. Then we have this lad here. This is another Canidoceros. This one, only that much was showing, just a bit of the keel. So I prepped down into it. The vibration did cause a break again, which happens. A break right down there. But again, just glue it back together. You can see another crack right here and here. It broke into 3 pieces. But managed to save it nonetheless. Another beautiful Ammonite. And here is an example of an Ammonite in the concretion. So there you go. It's a rock, big rock. Hit it with a hammer, opens up, you got an Ammonite inside. Obviously this one was, we'll call it an unfortunate break. But still really, really cool. A good sort of visual example of like how you find them in the concretions. And also, you know, a good sort of warning to pay attention to how the concretion was set in the ground. This concretion probably sat, you know, kind of like that or like that. If you pay attention to that, you can hit it on this side and get a better split. But regardless, absolutely beautiful. This is another really cool one. I'm quite proud of this one. I'm still working on it, as you can see, sort of slowly cutting away at it. But lots of crystallization in this one. The ribs are beautiful. And it's a good one. I'd like to cut down the back here a little bit so it sits up and out. But a really, really nice specimen. Really, really nice. Now moving into some more interesting pieces. So we have this guy. This is a heteromorph ammonite. It's called a Polycoceros vancouverensis. Very, very neat looking ammonite. Kind of look like candy canes sometimes. So there's one of them there. Then we have this one here, a bit more of the shell intact. Very cool. You can see that there's actually another one hidden inside this concretion. And then we have this guy here. Really, really beautiful, beautiful ammonites. Very neat. There you can see the candy cane sort of shape. Really, really like those ones. They can be hard to come by. And now this one's a really cool. So here we have the tail of a shrimp. Pretty neat. And then, of course, we've got the other side of it there. Absolutely beautiful. And if you look very carefully, we'll see if I can get the camera to zoom. See these lines up here? It's the little hairs at the end of the shrimp's tail. It's really, really neat. Really, really cool fossil. This one you can see it broke when it split. It's still really, really cool. And this fits right back together. Just like that. There's an example of what these concretions look like. They're just rocks, right? And you open it up, and you got an amazing fossil. And then, here we've got a really cool piece of fossilized wood. I really, really like this piece, actually. If you were to cut this, it'd look really cool because you've got the actual grain in there, which is really nice. I'm quite proud of that one. That was a nice snipe. And now this is where it gets a bit more interesting. The ammonites get a little larger. So we've got this guy here. So this one it's not done, you know, prepping and what have you, but it's really cool because we have these holes here, 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 and down there is evidence of predation. Some little mollusk or something bored a hole in it to try and get at what was inside and what have you, the whole circle of life. It's also a really cool one because of these suture marks. So all of these marks are sort of the leftovers of the structure inside the shell that would support it against the pressure of the deep ocean. So it's really, really beautiful and intricate, but altogether a really cool ammonite. Pretty crushed. You can see right here, this is sort of all in limbo, but still a really, really beautiful find. And now again, not the prettiest, but look at these beautiful suture marks. Here we have some more, you know, three-dimensional bits there. And then if we flip it around, even more three-dimensional bits. Very, very cool. This was a very large ammonite, but again, just look at that shell there. It was crushed. But it is what it is. It's still a beautiful, beautiful piece of history. And I love it. Okay, and now we're getting into the big dogs. Got this guy. A very big ammonite. This is sort of what it looked like when I found it. It was in two pieces. And then there's the other side all prepped out. Isn't that gorgeous? It's very heavy. I can put it down. Now on this one we have a little bit of the living chamber in here where the cephalopod sort of lived, you know, a little self-explanatory. Goes all the way around, and the inner whorl wasn't really there. On these larger ammonites it's fairly common. And then once again you've got those beautiful suture patterns on it. That's a great little ammonite. And now for the grand finale. We've got this guy here. It's heavy. I'm not even going to try and hold it up in front of the camera. I'm just going to move the camera closer here. So this lovely, lovely piece of history is 55 pounds after prep. Very, very interesting getting this one off of the river. Take my word for it. I'm going to flip it around. So, as you can see, there's a big fracture here. This one, where is it? I think that there is a crack running this way. The fella I had prep it did such a great job, it's hard to find it sometimes. But yeah, this guy came down in multiple pieces. It was in a very large concretion. Believe it or not, I just tripped over it. That's how I found it. There's a full video on YouTube, on my channel. A beautiful, beautiful ammonite. It's not very often that you find something like this. You can see this portion right here was, crushed. We can see a little bit of agate almost in there. So we can see some of the chambers actually, crystallized, and it looks like there's almost like an agate in there. It's really, really neat. We've got little bits of the chambers here. Alright, I'll flip it back over now. But yeah, altogether, an absolutely gorgeous ammonite. So, prop it up here. There you go. Now that one is the that is the centerpiece right there, eh? Absolutely exhausting getting this one out, but boy am I proud of it. Similar to the other large one I have here, the center was not properly preserved. So from about here on, that center is sort of just faked in. You just rough carved it. Keep a rugged sort of look to it, all that natural beauty. But yeah, that one's my prized possession. But that being said, this is a small piece of a much larger collection here. It would be pretty difficult to try and go through all of it. Got a fossil leaf there, we've got some clams there. This is a really nice piece. We've got both sides of that one. Yeah, it would be hard to go through all of it. I thought I'd bring you through the cool ones. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Short. I'm going to try and keep this short. I just wanted to bring you guys something at least. I had planned on having a completely separate video filmed and edited by this evening, but it didn't work out the way that I was hoping. And I just wanted to do it better, so I'm going to take the time to do it better. So stay tuned for that one. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed, and maybe even subscribe. But anyways, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.